Hello class, welcome to week 8 of BUAD 201 Business Writing. I want to go over a few things that we're going to be discussing this week before we jump into the lecture for today. For your tasks to complete this week, the first thing I want you to do is to download the updated syllabus. I'm going to be going over the changes for this updated syllabus. It's only a couple of changes that I made to benefit you as a class. Then I want you to make sure to review your group project assignment. I'll be discussing that as well too in detail, but I want you to review it on your own as well. In addition, make sure to read chapter 10 in your textbook. Read the entire chapter 10. Even though we're only discussing half of it today, the persuasive message part, I still want you to read the entire chapter 10 of persuasive messages and sales messages because they go hand in hand. In addition, your homework for MindTap this week is going to actually be the entire chapter 10, which will discuss persuasive and sales messages. Number 4, make sure to watch the weekly class video lecture below. And 5, complete your chapter 10 MindTap homework by Sunday as well. And as a reminder, we have a live mandatory class meeting next week during week 9 on Friday, October 20th. So this week is week 8. We are not meeting this week. We will be meeting next week during week 9 on Friday, October 20th. So please see the syllabus for time and location and make sure to be on time because again, during the first 10 minutes of class, you will sit with your assigned groups and you're going to discuss your group project. And again, the last hour of class will be used to complete your in-class writing assignment. So let's go ahead and take a look at the updated syllabus. I went ahead and I posted an updated syllabus here under the files attachments for this week. In addition, I replaced your old syllabus with the updated one again here at the top. And whenever I update a syllabus, the beginning will say updated with the date it was updated. That way you know that if you will always know if you have the most updated version. This is for my BUAD 201-50 class. For my BUAD 201-51 class, yours will say -51 here, but since I'm lecturing out of the -50 class, it's going to say -50. So let's go ahead and open up the syllabus. Again, you can open up the one at the top of Titanium or this one under the files attachments for this week for week 8. They're both the same syllabus. So let's go ahead and open up the syllabus and I'll show you the 2 changes that I made. So the first change that I made was moving your group project review from week 10 to week 8. I did this because now that we're going to go ahead and review the group project, when we meet next week during week 9 on Friday, October 20th, I'm going to be able to give you 10 minutes in the beginning of class to meet with your group and discuss your group project idea. This way, after you meet, you can begin working on your group project. So then the week after our live class meeting, we will not have a class activity that week. I'm going to give you guys that time. I'm going to go ahead and lecture, but you won't have anything to complete that week except your negative message. This way you could concentrate on your negative message that week. And then I want you guys to get together with your group and work on your group project as well that week. And in addition, I went ahead and I changed your group report to now be due on December 10th rather than December 3rd. I switched it with the sales message. I did this for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to make sure that if you needed that last time to meet with your group to discuss a few things, you could maybe meet before our class on the day of the final. That way you have a couple extra days to complete it for that weekend if you need it. And in addition, this will help you because you won't have to write an in-class writing assignment and the sales message during the same week. So now your sales message will be due on December 3rd. This way you don't have to worry about writing it during your final exam week. You can concentrate more on your final exam. Hopefully by this time you'll be done with your group project anyways. So the second change was switching the sales message and the group report when they're going to be due. Now the sales message is due on December 3rd. Before it was due December 10th. And now the group report will be due on December 10th, where before it was due on December 3rd. Plus, this will give you a little extra time to work on your group project. So again, please make sure to download the updated syllabus and make sure to replace it with your old one. What I'd like to do now is go over your group project assignment that you're going to have to complete by that Sunday, December 10th. So again, the group report will be due by Sunday, December 10th. So your assignment overview, your group is to identify a communication related problem or issue in a business organization. So here are some examples of a communication related problem. So maybe there's miscommunication between manager level employees and entry level employees. Maybe an entry level employee has two different managers, and these managers are saying contradicting things to do for the uh, entry level employees. So now the entry level employees are getting confused. One manager is getting upset, another manager is not getting upset. That was actually a problem, a previous BUAD 201 communication related problem a group reported on. Um, Maybe another problem is a point of sale system for checking out the registers is outdated. And again, this was another project that one of my previous BUAD 201 classes completed. The point of sale system, those are the checkout registers. They were old checkout cashier registers, and what they did was to fix this problem, they wanted to upgrade to new point of sale systems, which not only made checking out faster, but it also kept inventory more efficiently and effectively. Number three, a customer service has been rated poorly on social media sites. So maybe an organization has some poorly rated reviews on some social media sites, such as Yelp or Google Reviews or Travelocity, wherever those reviews may be. But that's something your group can discuss as well, or for anything your group feels would be necessary. So I will give you the first 10 minutes of our second live class meeting to discuss possible ideas with your group. So come to class prepared on our live class meeting with ideas to discuss with your group. Then as a group, you are to design a solution to the problem using course materials, terms and discussion, independent research, and your own experiences to guide you. The assignment involves both an oral presentation, no more than 15 minutes, of the problem along with the chosen solution and a written report, which is 4 to 6 pages. In both components, your group will be expected to perform the following. So identify the organization or industry, describe the problem, who, what, when, how, and why, describe and justify the solution based on sufficient research, present a timetable for implementing a solution, present a budget for implementing the solution. Now, number five here, since this isn't really a finance or an accounting class where you're looking more at numbers and how much things cost, the budget doesn't have to be accurate. This is really just to kind of give you guys some credibility of building a report and pitching an idea. Your budget can cost as much as you want or as little as you want. I'm really not going to be looking at the numbers since this is a business writing class. I'm going to be looking more at the content of how you write and how you present. And number six, present a method for evaluating the success of the solution. So I still will be looking at the way you write and what you write, looking at the content. Does your idea make sense? The numbers are really, which is your budget, is really the only thing I'm not going to look at too much in detail. Group expectations. There will be one grade assigned to all members. It is expected that your group will integrate materials covered in class and the textbook into the final presentation and report. So here's your written assignment breakdown, which is worth 50 points. You're going to have a letter, which is 1 page. It's a formal, direct letter written to the CEO of the company. It encapsulates a highlight of the report's key findings and thanks him or her for allowing you to consult their company issue. The letter will serve as a cover page of the report and will include all group members' names and signatures. Signatures do not have to be handwritten. So this is like the cover page of your report. So this will be a direct letter. And remember, a direct letter can be written in first person point of view. So in that letter, you can write, we appreciate you allowing us to consult your company. That is fine. Now, here's where it changes in the report, because in a report, which we're going to be going over in a couple weeks, when you're writing a report, you want to write it in third person because you don't know who's going to be reading the report and they may not know who you are as consultants. This is why you always want to put your report in third person. So your report is going to be 4 to 6 pages. It's going to be a detailed account in memo format. Now remember, memo format is single spaced, font 11 or 12, and you're going to need to have the correct memo header at the beginning of the report. Remember, the memo header has the date, to, subject, and from at the top, and then you begin your memo report. That explains the solution you have selected. It analyzes and discusses why the solution is significant and why the group chose that particular solution. You should be able to build a case for recommendations in your report by giving ample examples of reader benefits. Examples of how the solution will positively impact the organization should be presented. If you have determined procedural changes, this will be required. If you determine that they need to be required, you must build your report to support recommendations. And finally, you're going to need to have a reference page, which is one page. Please cite all sources in the body of the memo report in APA format and include a reference page for the sources used. A minimum of 8 sources is required. So remember, your letter is going to be written in the direct letter format in first person. Your report is going to be written in third person in memo format. And then your reference page is going to be written in APA style. And remember, when you cite sources in your memo report, please make sure to cite them in APA style. For example, maybe you're discussing how social media, implementing a budget into social media for an organization will really help the organization and boost up customer service morale. And you find a report talking about this, and this is from a published source, the Harvard Business Review. You would put in there Harvard Business Review in the year in your actual memo report. Even though it's written in memo format, you're going to cite in APA format. And of course, your reference page will be listed in APA format as well. So again, your letter, it's going to be in a direct letter format, written in first person. Your report will be a memo format, written in third person. And inside this memo report, you're going to have APA citations. And your reference page is going to be one page. It's going to be in APA format. So your oral presentation. The oral presentation should assume that the presenters are pitching their solution to a group of people in the organization that will decide whether to hire this team to actually implement the solution. So your group must use a visual aid such as a PowerPoint. Please make sure to dress in business attire. Everyone in the group must participate. You must record yourselves on video, whether it's a smartphone, a video recorder, etc. I want a raw video with no editing. Think of giving the presentation in class, but instead in class, you are presenting it where your group wants to meet on campus and then turning in the recorded video to your professor. So since we're not going to be meeting and you can't present these in class, I want you to get together with your group dressed in business attire and record yourselves on your smartphone or a video recorder completing your PowerPoint presentation. Remember, it needs to be a raw video, no editing. I want to see you guys run through your presentation. Now, the good thing about this is you can do it until you get perfected, but that's going to be very time consuming. So I would highly recommend practicing it before you actually do present it. When you're ready to present, go ahead and record it on your smartphone or a video recorder, save your file, and then I'll show you how to send the file to me. We'll be discussing that a little bit below here, showing you how to turn in your recorded video. But let's take a look at the possible outline of the oral presentation. So numbers 2 through 7 are the exact same as 1 through 6 up here. But with your group project, when you record it, you're going to have a step before and a step after, which I would highly recommend doing. So step 1, introduction of team members. Everyone needs to be introduced or introduce themselves. If you introduce yourself, that's great. It will be easy for me to understand who is who. If you have one person introducing the entire group, make sure you raise your hand when that person introduces you or step forward. That way I have a good idea. So when you put down your smartphone to start recording, go ahead and make sure that you all fit in the video. Make sure that you check before you start recording that you fit in the video. Go ahead and record. Now, I do understand this may be a little bit difficult because after you hit the record button, one person has to go walk back. That's fine. I'm not going to count that towards your grade. I'm going to start counting your grade once you guys start speaking about your group project. So if you hit the record button on your smartphone or digital camera and then you go back to make sure everybody fits in the frame and you want to make sure everybody is fitted, that's fine. I'm not going to count that towards your grade. I'm going to start recording once you guys start, I'm going to start grading once you guys start speaking about your group project. Why they should move forward with your group. So at the end, your conclusion recommendation, it should discuss why, this company should move forward with your group. So turning in your recorded video. So you have two options of turning in your recorded video. One, you can email a link to download your video. You can use Dropbox, Google Drive, etc. Do not try to send it as an attachment because it will not work. The email will kick it back because it's going to be too large of a file. Just make sure to save your file you send me via a link with the class name, section number, and group number. For example, BUAD underscore 201 54 underscore group 2. Wait for the professor to confirm the video was received before deleting the video. Practice this with your group members. Have one person send it to another group member. See if the other group member can open the file. If they can open the file and they have success opening it, 99 out of 100 times, I'm going to have the same success as well. If for some reason your link does not work or the file is not there and you end up turning your report in late, there will be deduction on points for your group project. Your second option is to bring in a USB drive with your recorded videos saved to the USB drive. Again, make sure to save the file with the class name, section number, and group number. For example, BUAD 201 54 group 2. If you choose this option, it must be turned in during our live final class meeting on Friday, December 8th. So again, if you email it to me, it can be turned in on Sunday, December 10th. If it's brought in by USB, it needs to be turned in on the day of our final, which is Friday, December 8th. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know. Good luck, you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at Chapter 10. Remember, you have Week 8 class activity to complete. Just go ahead and click on this link, download your Microsoft Word document, and go ahead and complete the activities as we continue to move forward. So let's take a look at Chapter 10 lecture. This is going to be talking about persuasive messages and how to use the different strategies your book discusses when you are completing these persuasive lectures. So remember, persuasive messages. So remember, Chapter 10 has two parts. It has persuasive messages and it has sales messages. You need to make sure to read both parts of Chapter 10, complete all of Chapter 10, and complete your MindTap homework for Chapter 10. But today we're just going to be discussing Chapter 10, the persuasive portion of this chapter. So let's go ahead and give it a couple seconds for Chapter 10 to open up. So make sure to open up your Week 8 class activity document. And this week we're going to have 2 class activities for you to complete and upload. So let's take a look at understanding persuasion in the digital age. So first, what is persuasion? Your book describes it as a symbolic process in which communicators try to convince other people to change their attitudes or behaviors regarding an issue through the transmission of a message in an atmosphere of free choice. So what does this mean? It means pretty much that when you try to persuade someone, when you're using persuasion to persuade someone, you know that they have an option to change their mind or it's a free choice to do what they want to do. This is something that's going to take a lot of practice, especially in business writing. But as we continue to talk about it throughout this chapter and practice it, you're going to be able to have a better understanding of how to write a persuasive message. So breaking down persuasion. So it's a symbolic process. So symbols are meaningful words, signs, and images infused with rich meaning. So remember, persuasion isn't just about writing or speaking. It's also things that you may see that have a persuasive image towards you. And when you see that image, it's going to persuade you to do something or not do something. For example, if you went to the beach and you saw a sign that said, great white shark warning, that sign is probably, and it had a picture of a shark, or beware of sharks, that sign that you see is probably going to persuade you to not get into that water, at least for the majority of us. An ethical persuader understands the power of these symbols and does not use them to trick others. So make sure, you want to be ethical, you want to be moral, especially when you're working in an organization and you're writing a persuasive message. You want to make sure to have your morals and ethics behind you because that's very important, especially since you're representing your business. And of course, because people's attitudes change slowly, sometimes persuasion just takes a little time. So you have to keep that in mind that you may not just persuade someone right away. It may take actually a little time. So let's take a look at some strong symbols of persuasion just to kind of give you an idea. So when you see this symbol, you understand that this is a strong symbol. You know that Apple is a good company. Even for those of you who may not be more of an Apple or Mac person, you do know that Apple has a good following. It's a very strong product, and it's a very strong symbol. And when you see this symbol, it may persuade someone to do something. It's almost like when Nike Plus and Apple combined to do their Nike Plus program through Apple. When Nike Plus used Apple on their products to show them that this is part of an Apple product now. That persuaded people to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and buy Nike Plus because obviously, if Apple backs them, it's going to be a good product. If you see this sign, this is going to tell you don't park here unless you have a handicap placard. You're not going to park in this in this parking spot. So this is another strong symbol of persuasion. Or finally, if you see this on the street, you're probably not going to park on the street because you don't want a dinosaur attacking your car. And of course, this is a fake sign. So let's break down persuasion. So persuasion involves an attempt to influence. Uh, it involves a concise effort to influence another person with the understanding that change is possible. Now, that's a key word, understanding that change is possible. For example, you have Mario. Mario's most likely not going to convince Koopa to get out of the way. This is Mario. This is King Koopa. Mario has to come over here and get this axe. If he sits here and tries to persuade Koopa, hey, can you move out of the way so I can get by? It's not going to work. So he understands in this case that change is not possible, and he's not going to move forward to try to persuade Koopa. Rather, he's just going to try to jump over him and get past him. So understanding this is completely the underlying factor of understanding if you can persuade someone. If you know that change is not possible, you're not going to be able to persuade that person. So let's take a look at the four-part ADA strategy your book discusses. This is extremely important because this is what I'm going to expect for you guys to use for your next in-class writing assignment. I want to see you guys use the four-part ADA strategy. So you can blend all four steps into a seamless whole. The steps do not have to go in order, but merely all need to be completed depending on the situation. I'll give you a hint. When you're writing your persuasive message in class on the during week 9, you're going to have to use it in this order. That is just a hint I'm going to give you. Make sure you use attention, interest, desire, and action. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the four parts before we go ahead and do our first class activity. So whenever you're trying to persuade someone, you want to make sure you get their attention first. Getting their attention allows them to connect with the message that you're trying to say or the product you're trying to sell, whatever it may be. You want to make sure you can grab their attention. And there are multiple ways of grabbing someone's attention. You can ask them a question. You can state an interesting fact. And your book describes many examples. So let's look at asking them a question. Maybe you're trying to persuade someone to sign up for a voice control program that controls your voice on the computer and it automatically types for you. So maybe your question in this case can be, do your hands hurt from typing on the keyboard all day? If so, we got a product for you. That's a question gaining their attention. Or maybe a fact, did you know that voice control can pick up 99.9% of the correct words when you speak into the program? Or voice control provides an easy process of recording your voice and turning it into type on your computer so you don't have to type. Or over 80% of businesses use voice control, whatever it may be. But gaining their attention is completely the most important part because now you're connecting them into the letter. Then gaining their interest, how do you gain their interest in this? So maybe you describe the product or service or what it is that you need to convince them of, that you're persuading them of. Get their interest to understand that, hey, there's an issue and you have a solution, and I'm going to go ahead and move forward with this product because now you're creating the third step, a desire. Well, guess what? We have a solution for you in this case, and this is your desire. This is what you're going to want to do to move forward. And then, of course, an action item. Action item is another important part because giving them an action item to complete lets them know what they have to do. It's almost like if I told you guys as a class, hey, and I didn't have it on the syllabus, and I just said, hello, class today we're talking about our APA report. Here it is. Your APA report is due towards the end of the semester. And that's all I told you. Well, what does that mean? When does quote unquote the end of the semester, towards the end of the semester mean? Uh, you know, if I provide you an exact date, hey guys, your APA report is due on, this is a fake date, of course, but Wednesday, July 10th, or April 15th, whatever the date may be. I'm providing you an action of when you have to do it by, and that's something you need to do in your persuasive message as well too. Please respond to me by this date. This way, I can make sure to get it completed. Whatever it may be, you need to give them a specific action item. So for your class activity one, understanding the ADA strategy is extremely important when writing persuasive messages. So for your activity, I want you to choose one of the four options of the ADA strategy: attention, interest, desire, or action. And in 2 to 3 sentences, discuss what you would write or say for this option if you were in the following situation. You don't have to write exactly what you would use in the message, but just an overview of what you would include, just to give me an idea of knowing what you would write in this case. You don't have to write exactly what you would write, but just you can go ahead and write it out for me to understand. So your situation, you are writing a persuasive message to your boss requesting additional money for the marketing department you are currently working in. So if you write it with attention, how would you gain your boss's attention? If you use interest, what would you write to create an interest for your situation? If you chose desire, what desire would your boss have for funding this? Action, is there something you need your boss to do in order to make this happen? So I'll give you guys 10 minutes to complete this activity. Go ahead and pause this video lecture, and once you're ready to complete, go ahead and hit the play button, and we'll go ahead and start on the next slide of gaining attention and persuasive messages. So when you are gaining attention in persuasive messages, there's different ways you can go about. Like I said, question, stating a fact. You can use a problem description, an unexpected statement, a reader benefit. Maybe there's a benefit for them to use this product or to do what it is you need them to do. Maybe a compliment, a related fact, or even a stimulating question with the examples that I gave you. So make sure to go over all of these and have a good understanding, because your persuasive message will vary. Which one of these are you going to use in order to gain the attention when you're writing your next in-class writing assignment message. And remember, your next in-class writing assignment message will either be in letter format, memo format, or email format. So please make sure you know all the formats. So prompting action in persuasive messages. So after gaining attention and building interest, you want to inspire the audience to act. Remember, don't seem too pushy. So this is the fourth part of the ADA strategy in prompting an action. You want to be effective. You don't want to be too general. Going back to the example of let's say your APA report. You don't want to be too general. Please get your APA report in by towards the end of the semester. That's a little too general. Too timid is, just if you can, please try to get your APA report in. Well, not if you can, or please try. This is something you need to do for your grade. So that's a little too timid, too pushy. Pushing you guys to try to do it too hard is going to be a little bit too pushy. For example, make sure to turn in your APA report by Wednesday, July 10th. You need to turn it in towards this date. If you don't turn it in towards this date, you may fail this class. Failing this class may really lower your GPA. Now I'm getting a little too pushy with trying to have you do it. Whereas something more effective would be, make sure to turn in your APA report by Wednesday, July 10th. This is something that will count towards your grade and is worth 100 points. It's something that's effective. It gives the idea of how many points it's worth, and you guys will know how it will affect your grade in your own. So for your class activity number 2, understanding how to depict a letter's persuasiveness is important because you can use the tools you read about in your personal and work life. So for your activity, read the persuasive organizational email message on page 10-4A of your online book. Now, if you want to use another persuasive message from your book, that's fine too. I just recommend using this one. Either one is fine. After reading it, look at the breakdowns in blue, describing each paragraph and section. In 2 to 3 sentences, write down one thing you have pulled from this letter which stood out to you about persuasive messages. For example, the letter uses the ADA method and the action portion specifically stands out because of X, Y, and Z, whatever the reasoning may be. So with this lesson, I really want you guys to have a good understanding of the ADA strategy because you're going to need to use this in your persuasive message. So let's go ahead and take a look at your syllabus, because there is something I would like to go over with you. So during week 9, which is going to be on Friday, October 20th, this is where you're going to have to write your persuasive message in class. Now, your persuasive message will either be in a letter, memo, or email format. And the tips I can give you for writing your persuasive message is use the AIDA strategy and use it in that order: attention, interest, desire, and action. Make sure you know all three styles of format: memo, email, and letter, because you're going to have to write one. You will be given all three, you will be given one option of those three. So make sure you know how to, you know the formatting for all three, and be prepared to write your persuasive message in class on October 20th. Again, it's persuasive. You want to use a strategy of AIDA: attention, interest, desire, and action, and making sure that you follow the steps in your book. So please be prepared to write your persuasive message in class on Friday, October 20th. So again, this week, make sure to download your updated syllabus, review the group project assignment, be prepared to have an idea of a business communication related problem, because during the first 10 minutes of class, I'll allow you to get with your group. You will be sitting with your groups again when we meet live. And I want you to discuss an idea with your group, so that way you guys can move forward with your group project. And again, read chapter 10 and complete your week 8 class activity. I wish you guys all the best of luck. And again, my contact info is up here at the top. Don't hesitate to contact me. You can text me on my cell phone. You could call me on my cell phone. You can email me, whatever you feel is necessary. I'm here to help you guys. Good luck.